and make this exactly what we thought it could all be, which was the most performant and the most used blockchain in the world.
Well, it's like you say, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So the sprinters got tired and bitter early on by trying to keep up with the marathon pace. So it's no surprise that they're not pleased.
It's time to talk about block producers on EOS. Who are they? What do they do? And why do they do it? In this series, I will highlight the various block producers in EOS, either of the top 21 who produce the blocks or of the many standby producers waiting in the wings.
All right, well, with me today, I've got Edgar Fernandez from EOS Costa Rica, our very first interviewee on the EOS Block Producer Expose. So first, Edgar, thank you very much for being with us. And we're just going to get straight into the questions. Could you just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into blockchain and EOS in general?
Sure. Well, Chris, thanks for the invitation. Thanks for having me here today. My name is Edgar Fernandez. I'm a co-founder of EOS Costa Rica. My background is in finance and accounting. I spent over 12 years in Wall Street banks before making the switch to tech and to blockchain. I was born in Costa Rica and spent some time in Virginia and New York. Before getting into blockchain, I was always involved in Latin America and a regional specialist for two large banks. And then in 2018, came and co-founded EOS Costa Rica together with my brother, my other co-founder. So I focus on the business and financial side of the company, and my brother focuses on the tech side.
Awesome. Very good. Well, thanks. And okay, so I guess that leads us right to the next question, which is sort of the history of your block producer. Let us tell us how it all started and how it's going.
Well, it's definitely a family affair. Our father was the one who got us into this. He first discovered blockchain in 2013 by way of Bitcoin as a form of payment for a data hosting, managed hosting service we had in Costa Rica. I was doing my career in New York, being a banker, and my dad's a systems engineer, and my brother's a software developer. They discovered blockchain early on as a method of payment from clients that we had all over the world, receiving payments over something that was native to the internet. He clearly saw that this was not just a means of payment and exchange of value, but also a new way to organize and architect data. So we started running infrastructure from our data center in Costa Rica, starting with full Bitcoin nodes, then moving to proof of stake nodes, and then discovering delegated proof of stake and Dan Larimer. We were a Steam witness for a while. We were following BitShares and the progression from proof of work to delegated proof of stake to where we are today with EOS and EOSIO. So in 2018, with the genesis of the EOS mainnet, we decided to merge the extensive experience we had running bare metal servers in our own data center with EOSIO, coming up knowing that Dan Larimer had already done a few blockchains prior to that, and that a lot of the scalability issues and user experience issues were being addressed with this new protocol. So we took the plunge, announced our VP candidacy for mainnet, and ever since then have been focusing on increasing awareness, adoption for developers in Latin America, and bringing EOSIO to enterprise and real business use cases.
Awesome. That sounds great. And then with your block producer, what are you most proud of?
I think the thing we're most proud of is creating the extensive amount of documentation around developer training, around EOSIO, and especially for the Spanish-speaking community. So if you go to our website, you can clearly see we're an enterprise-focused VP, where we try and improve transparency, traceability, and efficiency around businesses. But we also have a large repository in Spanish called guias.eoscostarica.io, where we've compiled a lot of the information that we've learned and trained for developers in Costa Rica and abroad into this one repository where developers can find easily why EOSIO, how to get started in smart contracts, the different topology around using EOSIO, how to join a test net, all in a language that they can understand. So we're really, really proud of these resources we've created along the last 4 years, mainly with seeing the need for clear and available documentation in the community in general, and more specifically in Spanish. That's one of the most things that we're proud of. Besides that, some of the real use cases we put together on EOSIO, one of them being EOS Rate, which is a way to do an on-chain rating system for block producers in the community, providing transparency, and another way to voice the opinion of the community. We've also created a dashboard at eosio.online, which is a way to visualize the infrastructure in EOSIO-based networks, not only mainnet, all the test nets and the different sister chains that use EOSIO. We're also very proud of the first place winning project that we won in the EOSIO hackathon with LifeBank. It's a system that incentivizes the donation of blood donation, incentivized donations of blood using EOSIO and with respecting privacy at the same time, and creating human verifiable EOSIO accounts while helping one of the biggest shortages in blood donations we saw caused by the COVID-19 crisis. We continue to build and provide value to the network. We last week announced the creation of a EOSIO-based network called LACchain, backed by the Inter-American Development Bank and their ventures group, IDB Labs. This is a public permission infrastructure where we use as much of the EOSIO code and slightly altered the system contracts to fit the governance proposal by the Inter-American Development Bank, and creating an ecosystem where the public sector and the private sector can use this infrastructure backed by one of the largest development banks in this region, and counting with the support of other block producers like EOS Argentina, EOS Venezuela, and Block One itself. We continue to add new applications. We don't want to just focus on the infrastructure side, but focus on things that are actually useful to the network. We've created a traceability application for containers in the logistics sector called SmartGate. We've also created an application built for Latin America for the traceability of COVID-19 vaccines called ImmuTrust. That's also on the LACchain network, creating transparency in the logistics sector, but also in the health sector. We think that EOSIO is the most flexible protocol, and it allows us to build things that, from NFT and games to traceability and healthcare systems to closed tokenomic economic incentives like LifeBank, to infrastructure that's public permissions for banks and public sector to use. We're also very proud of the way that we've presented EOSIO in the different publications, Cointelegraph, CoinDesk, creating EOSIO positive impact around enterprise and around its versatility in the Latin American region. That was key for us. I think EOS and EOSIO had a public relations problem, and instead of relying on someone else to take the first stance, we engaged a public relations firm and started to place positive, impacting EOSIO-based projects into one of the largest crypto and blockchain publications in the world. So those are things that we've continued to invest in. We have been a VP since the beginning. We've continued to grow the EOSIO ecosystem, especially in Latin America, and providing tools for developers and for infrastructure managers like our dashboard. And we'll continue to do so regardless of our position in the polls. We started this business knowing that this was going to be a marathon, not a sprint. We've continued to invest for the long term, and that means training developers and reaching out to businesses with real world use cases like the one you're displaying right now, which is a traceability application. To continue to show why EOSIO is the most versatile and robust protocol to use when looking for a blockchain-based solution.
Yeah, this is great stuff, Edgar. And we just a note for the listeners, there's some construction going on in Edgar's yard there, but it made for the better internet connection, so we'll just have to bear with. So after there's a lot of things that you've spoken that you guys have done, so great progress in the past 3 years. And I guess, so in continuation to that, what excites you most about the future of the EOS blockchain as we look towards the future here?
I think initiatives like you're doing right now, Chris, providing once again that for this ecosystem to grow, it's not about just funding, it's not about getting VCs to invest in it, it's also about governance and people taking control over what they want to do. I think that's the, they've said before, governance is a killer app. What's also its biggest security flaw or vulnerability. So I think what excites me the most, exactly what Eden and the Eden community is trying to do, people like you that are motivated to say, hey, this needs to change. We need to recognize people that provide value, that are not just taking inflation and taking value away from a network, but rather giving back and reinvesting and making that grow. So that's what excites me the most about EOS right now, is the new blood, if you will, the less jaded blood that has been inserted into our community, that's really trying to take that baton and make this exactly what we thought it could all be, which was the most performant and the most used blockchain in the world.
Well, it's like you say, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So the sprinters got tired and bitter early on by trying to keep up with the marathon pace. So it's no surprise that they're not pleased. But we're still here, and we're going to keep moving. So and I guess in continuation to that question too, what can token holders do to help you and or the EOS blockchain itself? What can we do to help?
What if you like what you're doing, what we're doing, and you see value in what we're providing in some of the examples we just gave, clearly counting with your vote so we can get rewards to continue to fund. We're a self-funded company. We've always worked in that model. We've brought in some of the biggest names like Grant Thornton on a contract-based method or business model. So that's how we funded what we bring. We try and actually get clients to pay us to build on EOSIO. But clearly, if token holders see value in what we're doing, we've never received a reward. It would be a great vote of confidence to be in a paid position on EOS mainnet. But whether our position improves or not, we're going to continue to do value. And I think communicating what we're doing and providing some recognition, whether that's economic recognition or just spreading the merit, is valuable and appreciated. So I think communication and clearly your vote would be the best way to help us continue to do this and continue to sprinting in this marathon.
So, and I heard that right. You broke out a little bit there, but you've never reached, EOS Costa Rica has never reached a paid position for
no.
as being a block producer? No,
we were there at the Genesis launch, and we've never been in a paid position for various different reasons. We've also never engaged in a reward proxy or a vote buying recognition. And that may or may not be the case. Maybe it's not, we're not communicating well, or maybe people don't see value in what we're doing. So, but yes, we've never been in a paid position in the EOS mainnet.
Okay, well, it's pretty clear objectively you're providing a ton of value. And so, I think the goal, what I'm trying to do here is to have more people be aware of the value that you guys are actually bringing to the ecosystem. And like you say, the marathon's a long way from being over. And if we have our way, we'll get you somewhere where you actually deserve to be, which is a paid spot for all this great work you guys are doing.
Well, thank you very much for the spotlight, Chris. I think the last thing I will mention is what else token holders can provide feedback. All our projects or most of them are open source if they're not for enterprise. We've got our GitHub repositories open. We've got our Telegram group. You can reach out directly to me or the other members of our team. If you think we're doing something that needs to improve, if you like one of our projects and want to contribute, please reach out. The best thing that we can have is positive and negative reinforcement to improve. So please reach out if you want to contribute or if you want to provide some constructive feedback. We're always open to that. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Yeah. And I'll put links in the show notes below for all the links that you've shared, plus all your socials, so people can reach out and stay connected. Thank you for your time, Edgar. I really appreciate what you are doing, what EOS Costa Rica is doing. And yeah, really thanks for all you do for the EOS ecosystem.
Thank you very much, Chris. Sorry about the construction here.
Hey, it's
we're building. We're building.
Things are being
We're
built.
building.
That's right. That's right. Just
There we
less
go.
noise when it's a digital type.
Exactly.
Right on.
All right. Thank you very much.